Sure.
I would just go like straight
Yep,
into it.
I'm doing it right now. It's happening.
Oh, okay.
Greetings, everyone. Nate the Nerdarchy here from Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds, and I am hanging out with a nerd.
I am Kienata, and tonight we are going to be talking about templates. Templates. Instead of just make a monster, we're going to make a thing that could turn other things into monsters. Does that sound
Or
appropriate? Does that sound...
make monsters cooler. And
Or
not
make
just
monsters.
half dragons and shadow dragons.
Agreed. Agreed.
I
Yes.
I understand the need to not flood us with templates when 5e came out, because there's such a glut from 3.5 and similar products of template. Is like, everyone was Burger Kinging it up. It's like, I'll put everything that I can possibly get out of this restaurant on that thing. Give it to me. Yeah, so I like them though.
I love templates. I really love templates. My favorite templates are templates that can be used by player characters as well as monsters. Those represent the kind of thing where GM can just take their big bad guy or whatever they want and just go, bleh, there's a template done. So, so you want to start with the most ridiculously easy template?
Sure, as soon as I remember how to make a template.
How to make a template? Okay, one step at a time. We're going to get there. James Leslie, Robert Smith, Raven Thylacine, Sage McKenzie. How are you folks doing tonight? We're still getting organized. We had a problem. We started OBS and it was like misbehaving. It literally just removed the camera views of me and Nate.
Yeah.
So he had to set all the camera settings over again. So,
yeah. I have gremlins in my OBS.
Seriously, I haven't touched my OBS settings other than to turn up my bitrate in 2 years.
And
His are messed up.
every single time. Single time I start, it's messed up.
Turn it on and it's broken.
Yes, exactly. That's what happens.
I'm not dead yet. Don't be dead. Don't be dead, James. We love you. We need you around. Stay with us for a while.
Come play with us.
Come play with me. Oh, you need a little bit of volume on your microphone, sir, Mr. Nate.
Okay.
Mr. Nate, or Mr. James Leslie said, crank it up, dog.
I am talking a little softer today.
There's the elf bait. We have the elf bait. Greetings, elf bait. And Patrick Smith and slats.
There we go. Go to the world.
Slats.
RPG. There we go.
Okay. Are we ready? We're going to do this? Are we going to change the world with our monster templates?
Yes.
Bravo.
What do we want to start it off with? There's the monster creature. I'm thinking we just do. What do you think we're gonna need a table? I think we should just do a generic text.
I'm gonna give you the easiest monster template that many people would love to have for 5th edition.
All right.
And you can tell me I'm not familiar. This may exist somewhere already.
Let's just do generic text then.
It seems so obvious to me that I thought it probably had to exist somewhere.
Okay.
Daywalker.
So a vampire kin.
And you could do any number of takes on it. There are a variety of takes on daywalkers. Sometimes they include things like the ability to shape change, like werewolfy kind of things. Sometimes they include a different set of attributes, like they remove all of their weaknesses, but then give them different versions of weaknesses. Like there are stories of daywalkers that the vampire doesn't regenerate anymore. They have to literally heal when they get injured.
So tone it down.
Right. And we could do whatever take we want on that. Right. Patrick Smith, a half vampire.
So
thinking. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You're thinking.
Well, I was just thinking, like, the first version of Daywalker that's in my mind is Blade.
That's the only version of a Daywalker that's in my mind right now.
Really? There's so many versions.
I know, but I'm still like, that's the significant one that's just like in front, hogging the spotlight of my mind on it.
Yeah. Blade's the easy one. He's got all the benefits, and the only drawback is literally that he needs to drink blood. And as far as moral quandaries go, I don't think that's a real big moral quandary for most player characters. At least not the people in my groups. They'd be like, I have to drink blood, then I kill some villagers. What?
Whatever needs to happen to make that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want him to go crazy now and start just attacking willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's got to choose to off some people, oh well. Yeah, that would I know the type of player that'd totally be fine with that.
Yeah.
Like anytime, bam.
I don't think Vampire Hunter D. Yeah, Peanut said hi. I don't think Vampire Hunter D was a half vampire, and you guys, maybe someone out there knows more than me and would like to educate me. I thought Vampire Hunter D was just so sick, hot, powerful because he was literally Dracula's kid. So he was just so nasty. He was like, yeah, I just roll around in the sun. I don't care. He is a half vampire. Okay.
But is he Dracula's kid?
Yeah, he is Dracula's kid.
So half vampire and Dracula's kid probably gives you some
fair benefits.
Yeah, there's got to be some benefits there.
At character generation, you will receive stat bonuses. There's Vampire Hunter Deity. No, it's an old anime. There we go. We got people in chat helping me out here. Thank you. It's Vampire Hunter D is just an old anime. It's like kind of one of those classic animes. I would definitely put that in my collection of like Bubblegum Crisis, Ghost in the Shell, Akira, Vampire Hunter D. Like these are all things that if you like anime, you should watch them once at least. That kind of thing. So
Princess Mononoke, right?
Princess Mononoke is, I don't even consider that anime. That's so good. That's just a movie. Like that's just a good movie. That's what that is.
A vampiric template that gains some of the benefits and strength of comparison with a loss of many of their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Spelling.
I think Alucard from Castlevania series could walk in daylight as well. I think you're right, but I don't know because I only watched the first season and I haven't seen Alucard do anything yet. Like he came out and was like, "I'm shirtless," and that was the end of that show, that episode. So
I need to watch that. I feel like someone's gonna bust into my house and take my nerd card away if I don't watch Castlevania.
It's really good. And here was the thing. I was kind of worried about the gore fiesta that would take place. I figured there's going to be murder and boobies, and that's not going to keep me entertained. Cool story. Cool characters. Like, I was like, this is legit. Like, this is really good. So just the intro, just the beginning, if that doesn't get you hooked, it's so good.
So we're gonna head to vampires. Look at these beauties.
Mm.
We're on D&D Beyond right now, by the way.
Elfbait said Vampire Hunter D has a low rent Hand of Vecna because of the mouth hand. That's all. I love stuff like that. I'm telling you right now, if you ever get to play in one of my games and you're like, I want a cool Vampire Hunter D hand, I get control of it, but you're welcome to have one. it's going to complain and talk back to you. I'm all about that. That sounds like tons of fun.
Okay, so sunlight hypersensitivity goes down to sunlight sensitivity, which is in direct sunlight you have disadvantage. I'd say that's gotta be there.
I think that's good. And keep in mind we're not following any specific like lore or canon or anything. We're just kind of making up our own.
What Kienata and Nate the Nerdarchy think a vampire template Daywalker would look like. That's the lore we're following. Well, okay. I mean, and some insightful comments in chat.
Because you are on the Drow template, I vote that's the power gauge. So that if you want to be a level 1 Drow, you're pretty good. If you want to be a level 1 daywalker, you're pretty good. But
Ooh, okay.
the question that we're going to have to address, is it still communicative? Can you still give it to someone else? This is the most important factor in a daywalker.
All right. Now, sorry, I'm like glaringly bright. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I'm going to have to say that's not going to be possible.
No transmission?
No.
You solve so many problems by saying no transmission. Chat, what do you guys think?
I'd love it, but no. That's the, like, 15-year-old player me going,
shape changing is pretty hardcore. I don't know about that. I know Nate's camera is a little pale, but Nate's camera is A, working, and B, not auto-focusing like a crazy mess.
yes.
So I'm super happy with how it looks right now.
Well, what happens is when I go to World Anvil, I'm not getting a 20-inch square screen blasting white at me, but when I go to D&D Beyond, I get a nice parchment blast. So, you know, that's what I got to deal with. So I turned down my brightness, and I also turned down the brightness of my actual monitor, so it's hitting me with less light. So we're looking at Drown. This is basically, we're making a quarter CR edition, so we're saying playable race rather than a template, or you just like slap this on something.
This is a slap this on something, and I like the idea of being able to take here's a template, pop it on whatever you want, and say, if you want to pop it on your character, pop it on your character. If your GM wants to be Daywalker Ogre, I don't care. Whatever you want to do. All right, you're smiling. What's up?
So, I mean, it says stake to the heart, and I gotta say, it's just funny. So, like, that kills anything else that's living. So it's like, of course it's going to hurt a vampire kin guy.
I think you should write that in.
What?
I think you should literally like stake to the heart, and then after the sentence, if a piercing weapon made of wood is driven into the heart of the vampire or the daywalker.
Well, in this case, it's just paralyzed. It doesn't kill it.
Just in its resting place.
Yes, just in its resting place. Now, this is the thing. It's hard for it to rest anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? Like, that might actually mean its death if it can't return to a place that's considered a place of rest. I'm pretty sure that's in there.
I think we should just entertain ourselves right now.
Okay, sure.
If a piercing weapon made of wood is driven into the vampire's heart, it's dead. Period.
Yeah. We'll just get that. It's dead. Exclamation point.
Limited wild shape, silver allergy. This is a common thing. Voltaire, that's an excellent suggestion. Kind of a common trend is to give them mild allergies. They're not. Garlic isn't going to kill them or damage them or hurt them in any way, but they really don't like it.
Harmed by running water. Poisoned in running water.
That would suck.
Oh yeah,
that sounds good.
Every time you take a bath, you feel sick. It's terrible.
20 acid damage if it's... Oh my god.
Yeah, it is not nice. The running water hurts.
Feral Rage. Interesting. Now remember, stake to the heart is just as bad. Once you manage to get a stake there, the creature is probably going to be... Yes. Poisoned while in running water.
Yeah.
Can't enter a residence without invitation from one of the occupants. That I think we can just throw that away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just throw it away.
Well, this is they can't. Can we make it something less? Like you suffer a temporary level of exhaustion while in a residence without an invitation. No. Forbiddance is a really cool thing I always enjoy about playing with vampires about.
I know I like it thematically, but I feel like there's a few drawbacks that we need to just trash. The
Okay.
fact that the dude can roll around in sunlight's really powerful.
Yes.
Uh,
But he
and
also
then,
is not going to have a whole bunch of the other goodies.
yes. But he's already got a water problem. I don't want it to start raining. Someone was just pointing out rain. I don't want it to start raining and have them go run to an inn to try and go inside.
Running water is not rain.
That's running water.
In
No?
Rifts. In Rifts it is.
Depends. I guess it depends on the game.
Yeah. It's like a stream or something. Like Sleepy Hollow, can't get over the bridge kind of thing.
If you're keeping harmed by water, you need the residence protection. Are you, Kyle Ellis, are you saying like thematically it fits to have both? I'm up to entertain that argument. That sounds pretty reasonable.
I just don't think the full forbiddance.
Voltaire's Rewind has a negotiation here, a mid-ground. You must leave if asked to or suffer psychic damage.
Huh.
So if you are asked to leave someone's residence, you have to leave. Okay, and Kyle Ellis is saying that yes, he feels like if you have the running water thing, you need to keep the theme the same and keep with some of the trappings of vampire. So another option is, I would say, disadvantage on attack rolls when in an uninvited residence. Very good idea. Yeah.
You must what? If you are asked to leave a residence, you
leave.
I think I like the disadvantage.
Disadvantage? Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said exhaustion, because it gives you some disadvantage to things. Like skills, I think, are at disadvantage.
Okay.
So if you're asked to leave a residence, by someone who can tell you to leave.
Raven Thylacine brings up consecrated ground. Hey, Paul Jamal, what's up? And all the other million billion people. Yeah, Paul, we're working on templated things tonight. So right now we're doing the template for a daywalker. So you could smack the template, like if you wanted to play one, or you want your big bad to be one, or whatever, you can just make up a dude and then slap the template on top and be like, look, that's a daywalker now.
How about suffer disadvantage to attack, rolls, and skill checks?
Okay. That's brutal.
It is. But you can enter a place without permission. It's just when someone focuses upon you and says, get out of my house. You're like,
that's
okay. I'm feeling really uncomfortable and a little off my game right now. Okay, I'm out of here. Jeez.
I like the concept of ground. Like they need to keep the dirt they were buried in within their pocket. Well, the idea of a daywalker, I guess we want to tell the creation story for a daywalker then. Because a daywalker isn't a dirt you're buried in person. A daywalker is typically, I mean, in most takes, it's a vampire and a mortal make a baby, and the baby's a daywalker. Although I have to be honest with you, if that kind of thing worked, everyone would be cranking out armies of daywalkers. Like that's just probably what would happen.
Yeah, that's what would happen.
Strad would be like, I don't need it to be dark all the time.
Yeah.
I can already walk around in the sun. Here are my kids. They're all daywalkers.
So let's start stripping away some abilities. And I think we'll get to a good spot.
Okay.
Because then we can kind of gauge the power stuff of this. Well, if we're looking at Drow as an indication of what kind of powers, first off, let's get rid of the legendary resistances.
Yeah, legendary resistance seems like it might be just a skosh on the OP side.
Yeah, let's get rid of the legendary attacks and actions. Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah. James Leslie, drop the legendary stuff. Get it out of here.
All right, I'm saying spellcaster.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna say charisma is a thing, and whatever this is generic monster, DC, I think.
Okay.
Oh, that's another thing. We're gonna have to work on these stats. I think what what you get template wise.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, these become. Well, we'll look at that later. All right. So, Drow got dancing light. They've got darkness. They've got fairy fire. So. I feel like
spell suggestions, anyone?
I'm gonna say suggestion. I'm gonna suggest suggestion.
That's strangely suggestive.
And charm.
Charm. Suddenly, I agree with all your ideas.
Yes.
You're so brilliant, Nate.
Yeah. So
these are not the droids you're looking for. Daywalker, kill it.
Kill it. So that's my suggestions is.
Raven Thylacine says lose shapeshift. I'm in that camp as well. Does anybody else have any opinions on that? I feel like shapeshift is the for a Daywalker. They're gonna get to keep regeneration.
The regular shape change, yeah. Now I really like the cloud of mist thing, but yeah. So yeah, shape change is out of here. All this bat form stuff, it's out of here.
Okay.
Misty Escape. Goodbye, Misty Escape.
Lincoln said hold person. That's an interesting. False life. Keep darkness. Charm. Toll of the Dead. A lot of good suggestions. Toll
of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, we're not keeping darkness. Darkness is actually from Drow. So keep in mind that darkness, fairy fire, and dancing lights are Drow.
I attack the darkness.
So I put charm person, suggestion, and an at will. I don't really know an at will.
No at will.
No at will. That's fine.
Yeah, let him keep the AD&D second ed once a day stuff and take away the at will stuff. Is there a glowing eyes cantrip or something?
Prestidigitation. How about thaumaturgy or prestidigitation?
No prestidigitation. People get way too creative with that. You'll end up with a million.
All right, thaumaturgy, which is basically the priest's version of prestidigitation.
How is that different?
How is it different? You can do the glowing eyes thing. You can do the booming voice. You can do. It's different.
So what if you did thaumaturgy and then you just did glowing eyes, booming voice, and
no, just if they want to do other stuff with it, just let them do other stuff with it. They can make the earth quake slightly.
Haste, Devil's Sight. Confusion spell like ability. It does make sense to keep darkness.
Why? And keep in mind, it's the Drow. That's the only reason the darkness is there. It's not we're not keeping darkness from vampire.
I know. I'm just saying.
I just left them there to give you an understanding of what level spells are available to the Drow, and we were moving spell casting over as a Drow thing. So I've got thaumaturgy, suggestion, and charm person. I'm pretty sure suggestion is the second level spell.
I don't remember.
No. I will not only remember, I will find out.
Okay. The regeneration ability, chat, I'm going with 5 hit points as far as that mechanic is concerned instead of 20.
Second.
Or we could make it more mechanics based and say that they receive a number of hit points equal to their constitution modifier. Which would make it more scalable.
Or they gain something like a temporary hit point that regenerates every round.
Well, if you read the text of the rule, the easiest modification is
Just
just
making
to
it
change.
a smaller number.
Yeah, just to make it a smaller value. You could also do you could change the vampire regains hit points equal to their constitution modifier at the start of its turn, blah blah blah. I think con modifier makes it scalable, even though that's kind of weird, but I still think con modifier makes it scalable. We have one agreement on con mod.
I like it because it changes.
Yeah, well, it just makes it scalable. So if you're really tough, you're gonna heal quicker. Max healing on a short rest with a variety of.
Yeah, I was thinking about something maybe like being able to spend hit dice on places other than a short rest.
You would say for 5e text, you would say constitution bonus.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
Well, Doug knows way better than me.
Oh, that's Doug? Absolutely. Well, okay, if he said it, I'll do it right now.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said when I was talking to him.
Okay. I thought he was in a chat saying it's supposed to be constitution bonus.
We're also supposed to be referring to everything in third person, but anyway.
Yeah, well, I haven't adjusted that yet. Minimum of 1.
We still, and we haven't dealt with any of the blood drinking mechanics yet. We still haven't touched on any of the blood drinking mechanics, and there's tons of stuff we could do with blood drinking. So
spider climb. I'm saying they gain a climb speed.
It just seems like alien and weird to me. I'm willing to entertain whatever you want to do with that, because I don't see it as insanely powerful or game breaking or anything. But thematically, it seems weird to me.
Okay.
Spend hit dice while drinking blood. Spending hit dice in the dark gives you something special. Ingest blood for a full heal on short rest. Lots of hit point regen, but the vampire's allergies stop the healing. Right now, it's stopped by radiant damage, holy water, running water, a bunch of stuff.
And sunlight.
Yeah, it's stopped by all the normal things. So, and a stake to the heart kills it because it kills everyone.
It's like a bullet to the face. You are incapacitated. Like, no, you're not a vampire, so you're dead.
Yeah, they Voltaire one said they gain a climb speed. I just feel like the climb speed's like so alien. It just doesn't. It's just not meshing with my preconceived notion. That doesn't mean it's wrong.
So, are we saying that they've lost some supernatural? Because the spider climb is just a supernatural ability.
Yeah,
like they could legit like walk on the ceiling.
Does anyone else feel weird about spider climb? Or do you guys think I'm overreacting? We should keep it in? Because I could really go either way. As far as power scaling is concerned, I don't see spider climb as something that I'm like, no, your first level character can't have that. You can fly with some first level characters.
And some people don't think you should be able to do that.
I know. I don't understand what they're upset over.
I'm not in that camp. But having spider climb all the time would absolutely be one of those super big benefits. For the exploration pillar.
We do have some middle ground that we could go with. Elfbait said, how about leap? Spider climb is too much for me. Slot says, I'm for removing climb. Kyle Ellis said Blade was always jumping from things, not spider climbing. I love that mental image.
So we give him athletics.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
Because
that way you can jump or you can climb better.
Yeah, we have a few people are saying expertise or advantage on athletics checks. Brian Smith said just no for flavor reasons. It just seems, just to me, it just seemed weird. just specifically for the flavor. I do love the idea of them being bouncy little monkeys, though. That makes me very happy. That's very Blade. Voltaire's Rewind's offering some different suggestions. How about Spider Climb once a day? Caleb 25, Caleb 25. Can I just call you Caleb? Said depends on your lore for vampires. Queen of the Damned Vamps can climb. So okay, all right, cool. So athletic. They're very bouncy, rooftop to rooftop kind of thing. Which means I'm Batman. Nate, I'm a daywalker and I'm Batman.
I can't even look at you right now. All right, you gain the skill athletics.
Okay, all right. And try and keep in mind while we're working through this, we're trying to make a daywalker. We're not trying to go for a full vampire. So
yeah,
ninja vampire. They're athletic.
So I'm gonna say they still have a bite. Do we think should it be as fierce as the vampire bite?
Let's read through this a little bit. +9 to hit. That's not right anymore.
Well, that's gonna change. That's all gonna change.
A willing creature. Poor.
Or a creature that's been grappled.
Okay, I think we could safely turn the necrotic damage way down.
Okay.
It has right now. It has the potential to do almost 30 points of necrotic damage, plus another
3d6,
18 plus 10.
So we're talking about max at 18 necrotic, and then it can do a total of almost 30 if you max the dice.
Disgusting. That is a lot of damage.
So I'm thinking, what do you think? 1d4 bite?
I would say
that's going to go away. So it's just going to be a 1d4. Like, it's just going to give you an attack. I say it's going to go away because it's going to be the person's modifier. Because remember, we're doing the template. So things like the plus to hit it's not there.
So is a vampire biting someone strength or dexterity?
I would say either.
Either. They get to just pick.
Oh, so it's a natural weapon. Don't you get to pick with that when it's like everything except the slam attack?
Thematically, I love the idea because then you can differentiate between the elegant, gentle kiss of the night and the gangrel rip your throat out and lap up the blood fountain. Yeah, exactly.
Anime style. It's just going everywhere.
No one will use a D4 bite. I would leave it D6, 1D6 to make it viable. I have several people bringing up that.
It does a D4, and it gives you hit points. So it's a little different, and it's gonna be plus your modifier. So we're looking at anywhere from +2 to +4 onto this.
Here's my issue with this. All right. At a D4, it's just low enough to feel like a half dragon breath weapon.
Oh,
it really is. It really is. Like mechanically,
pushing my buttons.
It feels like it would very quickly become useless. But at a D6, I feel like someone would still be like, I could still get 10 or 12 hit points. I'm going to do it.
All right. You start doing things like slapping Hunter's Mark on stuff with whatever you actually are, because this is a template. You start doing things that are going to... I mean, hey, like a Daywalker Warlock throwing hexes on people.
I've got a suggestion from Sage McKenzie, and I've got a mechanic that we can use to counterbalance all of this. Sage McKenzie says 1d4 plus your level. What if we did 1d4 plus your level in necrotic damage? Now it scales better, and by the time you're able to do 20 base necrotic damage, you're level 20 anyway. Who cares? Even at level 5 extra damage isn't the end of the world. At level 10, it's not the end of the world. It would scale very well. So plus your level in necrotic damage. So you get 1d4 plus 1 necrotic damage at level 1.
All right, I think that's doable. Scalable with level. That's a good. That's a good solution.
Okay. Okay. Good job, Sage McKenzie. You can have my job. Voltaire said, agreed, 1d4 plus level necro. I just like the plus level damage. I'm glad someone brought that up because it scales very well. There's never a time when you say, well, I can think of some, but you probably wouldn't say, no, adding your level to damage is overpowered, because by the time you're doing a ton of damage by adding your level to it, you're already entering the demigod region of power level.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares about 20 extra.
And you're like, okay, so I've sucked dry a goblin in one shot. Who cares?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm super not impressed. And then we have other options. Slats said you could use proficiency bonus if you felt like level was too steep.
Yeah, that's true.
Daywalkers are fine in the sun, but should get bonuses at night. The main difference is they don't get penalties in the sun. Right now, the Daywalker doesn't like the sun. And Patrick Smith said confusion gaze instead of a charm domination one.
All right. What I've done is I've given them charm once a day and suggestion once a day. And I think that makes it more closer to a playable thing. If you're looking towards like maybe a player character could do something with this.
Right. If a player shows up to your table and says, I put the Daywalker template on my character, do you want to immediately feel overwhelmed and feel like that character is going to end up shadowing everyone else? Or overshadowing everyone else? Or do you want to feel like, meh, you're powerful, but that guy's a Minotaur, it's fine?
Yeah, if you say one guy's a Minotaur, the other one is a Yonti Pureblood.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Someone's a drow. I start with 2+1 weapons. I just can't use them in the sun.
Oh, a drow out of the book instead of a...
Yeah. Blade was fine in the daylight, but at night he was unstoppable. He used the darkness like a security blanket. Interesting idea. Interesting. Okay.
I'm gonna say instead of being able to magically summon creatures like this, I think you can speak with, like, similar to the gnome's power, you can speak with things like rats, bats, and wolves.
We need to get rid of the last sentence of bite.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Let's avoid propagation of daywalkers. It's a dark owl. That's exactly what it is. Magically calls 2d4 swarms of bats, but I can't be Batman if you take that away. I'm Batman.
He doesn't summon bats. He's scared of them.
He absolutely does. He absolutely does when he's getting out of the psych ward after dealing with Scarecrow and he's trying to save the girly loves. He pops the thing off the heel of his boot and throws it down the stairwell, and it brings a huge swarm of bats so that he can make out in cover. Do you even Batman, bro?
I just got my shark repellent. That's all I got.
Good thing I remembered what was that Batman episode? Batman literally throws a batarang because Robin's tied up and falling. He throws a batarang and Robin catches it in his teeth. And when Batman pulls Robin all the way up, Robin's completely tied up. He holds on to the batarang with his teeth. So he pulls Robin to the rooftop and he goes, oh, I just barely caught you. And Robin's like, good thing I ate my carrots today or whatever.
My vegetables.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, there we go. That was in Batman. He used a sonic device that summons bats. Yeah.
Well, the bats were already there.
Mm-hmm.
They just freaked out when he did that. All right, so we're going to say he can talk to these night critters is what I'm going for, unless someone has come up with something more compelling.
There are good suggestions. I would like to see some kind of bonus to persuasion checks with these things.
Ooh, bonus to persuasion checks.
Right, because it would kill my immersion to have my daywalker get attacked by wolves, and he's like, I talk with them. I'm going to try and convince them not to attack me. And somehow he fails to convince wolves not to attack, or a rat. He fails to convince a rat not to talk to him. Like that just, okay, this is silly. Can we change that rule? Like,
all right. So let's say he has advantage on skill checks involving wolves, bats, and rats. So like animal handling, that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Rats, bats, and wolves. Oh my. And no more swarms. 2d4 swarms. Hundreds of bats. That's 2d4 swarms. If you roll an 8, you get like 88 bats.
Nice.
It's just a whole cave emptied out. Anyway.
That's all gone. Unarmed strike shouldn't be a longsword. It should just be
what?
You punch, just like everybody else punches. So I'm just going to take it out.
Wait.
But I like them being able to grapple. Okay, this is the thing. This is where we're starting to rub against certain things. Like, if you want to be better at this, be a tavern brawler, and you get basically a better punch, the ability to grapple.
But here's my deal. If you want to take away the unarmed strike, I want a strength bonus or dexterity. I want physical bonuses to the character, because
you get athletics.
The idea of a vampire moving faster than you, being stronger than you, these supernatural physical characteristics are really common to the theme. So stat bonuses sounds like the right direction to go for that. We definitely remove unarmed strike so that he can't punch like a longsword anymore, but then a strength and dexterity bonus for sure. +2 strength, +1 charisma. What about dexterity slats? What about dexterity? What's your problem with dexterity? Do you not like that stat?
He's got 4 18s. I mean, looks like should get +2 right down the line, right?
No. Exactly. Pet Shop, it only works if he yells longsword punch beforehand, like DBZ. Longsword punch!
I've been training my fingers for years. I started by punching pillows.
Like a physical adept in Shadowrun, they could literally slice through like a car door with their hands. They channeled, instead of using magical energy to cast spells, that's kind of where I came up with my Inquisitor idea. Instead of channeling magic energy to cast spells, they channel magic energy into their bodies, and they're like the awesome version of a D&D monk. They literally can make their hands glow and slice through like car doors and stuff. So,
what do you think about 3+1s?
3+1s. What are you giving them +1s in? Strength, dexterity, and charisma?
Strength, dexterity, and charisma. Now, those 2+1s to dex and dex and strength aren't really that swell, because you're most likely either a dex-based type fighter or a strength-based type fighter. Like, you're not... Do you know what I mean?
I'm willing to accept this if you are willing to accept a caveat.
Oh, right. To stat pluses? I'm interested in hearing.
Yes. They get these bonuses in addition to their normal racial bonuses.
Oh.
So if you're a half orc, half vampire, which would be totally legit, that's just a half orc that got bit.
Yeah.
Or a vampire took an orc bride, or an orc vampire took a human bride, or whatever you want to call it. And I need feedback on that. Hit me up, chat. What do you think? The charisma, Kyle Wells brings up a good point. The charisma bonus is really just because vampires have it. Daywalkers always seemed like loners to me, and I would agree with that.
Well, there's a personal presence that I think is like a strength of personality. involved in that. So it's not necessarily just being friendly. It's getting people like intimidation is something that a loner could be good at. So if we go on those line of thinking, it's kind of lonerer stuff is not the right kind of, I think, metric to judge charisma.
Kyle Ellis said, I would use charisma +2 for the Daywalker and use the other races +2 bonus. But charisma is the Daywalkers, or the other races stat bonuses. The +2 charisma is the Daywalkers bonus. Can I negotiate that? Can we do +1 or something, and then do the racial bonuses on top of that? Creme de la creme. Because I could be just getting points happy right now.
It'd be like all the pluses.
All the pluses. I know I could be just power mongering this. So
we could also not give them any bonuses.
No, come on. No.
They're getting a lot of stuff already.
No. I vote against that.
All right, so this is the thing. You're getting some kind of strength bump because you seem stronger because when someone challenges you, you have athletics. So you're jumping farther than people, you're lifting things better, you're climbing better than other people. You're physically more capable than a person with one more strength than you. Do you know what I mean? Because you get to add +2 at the minimum to it.
What about making it like the human variant? The racial bonus is +1 to 2 stats. That way we don't have to count. You know what I'm saying? That's James Leslie. Are you gonna speak against James Leslie? The James Leslie? Go ahead. See what he does.
I'm finding it kind of hard to do that. Okay, I'm gonna say that if you're gonna get the regular, I think this should just supersede. I think the Daywalker template should really just supersede a lot of what goes on in a regular racial kit. Do you understand what I'm saying here?
I feel that I'm with James Leslie. I feel there are more negatives on this template than benefits. This Daywalker can regenerate, but it's not awesome regeneration. If someone just runs up to you with a longsword and just starts swinging, you're not going to outlive that.
No.
Like just some dude with a longsword, that will kill you.
You never have to take a short rest, though, to gain hit points back.
That is not outweigh death by longsword. That is not. These are not comparable things to weigh against each other. And he's sensitive to sunlight, and he can't walk through the river with everyone else. I mean, this dude has a ton of problems.
He just might vomit on the other end.
I feel like stat bonuses are perfectly acceptable.
All right, this is going to have some levels to it, definitely.
All right, okay, all right. Here's my counter offer. Can I make a counter offer?
Sure.
Are you still at the negotiating table?
Yeah, I'm here.
+1 dexterity. Get rid of the sunlight sensitivity.
What? Absolutely not.
Blade had a tan, dude. Like, seriously.
That was probably just like self-punishment.
No way. I say throw it to chat. Here's what I'm offering. +1 charisma and no daylight sensitivity.
Where's my delete button before this gets out of hand?
Come on, chat knows what's best.
Unbelievable. Look at all these goody things.
Yes, Patrick Smith, Blade was black. That is quite true. Keep sunlight sensitivity. Voltaire. Uncle Peter said need daylight sensitivity.
That's why you wear sunglasses.
Right. Kyle Ellis says, Nate, it can't have sunlight sensitivity. Daywalkers do not have any negatives in the sunlight. Their bonuses just aren't active. Pet Shop said no dex. Patrick Smith said not tan. Paul Jamal said, +1 to strength, dex, con, charisma, keep daylight sensitivity. There's a lot. What is strength, dex, con, charisma? 4 stats?
So
I was pushing it with 3.
so basically what we've got here is rather than burning to ash in the sun, you can walk around in it and function.
And get a tan.
You may have a hangover, but you can walk around and function in the sun, and you don't regenerate during it. Rather than burning to ash.
We're fairly well divided right now. We're fairly divided right now. I leave you to make the final decision. And if chat hates you forever, that's your choice. Chat's divided as well. Chat's divided as well. So I would select whatever you think is going to work best.
Oh, man. I'm getting rid of this. I can at least make this choice right now. I'm getting rid of these damage resistances.
Yeah, Kyle Ellis, Brian Smith both think Daywalkers don't have sun sensitivity. Lord of Darkness said Daywalkers are Daywalkers. How can you be a Daywalker if you have sunlight sensitivity?
I've got sunlight sensitivity. I still go out.
Nate, no sunlight sensitivity. I don't think they should have sunlight sensitivity. It's counterproductive to the idea of the very definition of the Daywalker.
Are they still not going to regenerate, though, in sunlight? Or are they going to regenerate in sunlight, too?
I thought regeneration said they don't get to regenerate if they're...
That's if they take radiant damage, but also if it is in sunlight or running water. Okay, so we're keeping that.
It already has the wording we need. Brian Smith said, Nate, don't end up on the wrong side of history here.
All right, I'm hitting the backspace.
Yes.
I'm hitting the backspace.
Yes. There we go. Awesome. Right. So no bonuses in sunlight, no regeneration in sunlight. But if you can find a dark corner, you can regen up. There you go.
Okay. See, they've got advantage with skills involving wolves, bats, and rats. They've got their bite attack. Stake through heart kills them. They are poisoned in running water. If Astley resonates by someone in authority, they suffer disadvantage to attack rolls and skill checks until they leave.
They're just permanently at disadvantage. Sorry, dude, you're just at disadvantage forever now. That's what the rules say.
Somebody's dad got mad at me, and now I'm just crappy at life. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we've got that locked down. Did we lock down stat bonuses?
Stat bonuses, +1 to strength, +1 to charisma.
Okay.
They're stronger and better, just personal
Stronger
magnetism.
and better looking than everyone else.
I'm going to say they have dark vision because they're not dragonborn.
I have to tell you that if you hadn't remembered to add that in, I would have been woefully disappointed to have someone say, it's dark, you need a torch. And I'd be like, I have vampire. And they'd be like, did you even read the description? There's no dark vision. I mean, I'm rolling a new character.
Can I light this on fire with a magnifying glass? Then the sun will have burn it.
Hey, old Grumpy, what's up, dude?
This is a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So how many levels is this costing you?
I don't think it costs you any levels.
No?
Dude, you have so many disadvantages.
These are inconveniences. I'm sorry, you can... At least a drow has sunlight sensitivity.
These are inconvenient.
A stake through the heart is... That's just for everybody that's alive, so...
That won't kill me.
Sickened by running water. Do you know how many times I've had characters in the past, decade, wade through running water? Like maybe 3 times.
Brian Smith said, Nate, don't be stingy.
Like, no. Forbiddance, this is like, that's not a big deal. Because you know what? It's rude to stay in somebody's house when they kick you out anyway. So you should leave.
And we have Paul Jamal said, if no dex bonus, then you must have a movement speed increase. Brian Smith said, Nate, don't be stingy. Brian Smith said, Nate, don't be stingy. Alex C said, if it's a template, should the movement speed be a bonus, not a base speed? Yeah.
It should be a bonus of nothing.
This
is the speed of vampires, by the way. I did not change that. They don't get celerity. And in fact, they don't get haste.
Okay. James Leslie said you're the Scrooge of templates.
I'm just trying to make something that could possibly be played in some game I play in sometime.
Cody Sams would like to know, what about the reflection thing?
Oh, we didn't get into any of the fluff at all.
Yeah.
None of the fluff.
I don't think we need to deep dive fluff too far. I would definitely say they can totally see their reflection in a mirror.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not? I mean, unless we want to add that as some kind of, for some level of interest,
Well, yeah, I guess maybe, they don't have spider climb. They've got a lot of really weird, spooky, supernatural stuff that they lost. So I can see their loss of a reflection being something that goes away as well, so that they actually can see themselves.
How many of these mashups are you doing tonight? Slot said just half a reflection.
Right down the middle, not translucence, half of a clear reflection.
Their reflection is blurry. Nate is the Grinch that stole this template from us. Hey, Aaron Parks, what's up? I think we're going to do at least 2 templates. This was supposed to be the quick, easy one, believe it or not.
Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking. How that's supposed to happen.
It's such a useful template. Everybody wants to be, if you threw this at your players and said, hey, does somebody want to play a half vampire? Somebody's going to pick that template up.
Yes.
Yeah. You might have 2 or 3 people that are like, we'll just be siblings.
We'll just all be. Our dad
exactly.
really got around.
The reflection is pixelated.
It's smudged.
Yeah, Brian Smith said, get it out of here, on to the next one. I agree. Put your official Nerdarchy seal of approval on that.
Oh.
Get to the next one. This is canon now. You said it's good. Everyone can use this. It's official. Official 3.5. Official 5e rules now, because Nate said it's good.
One last thing. Do they need to drink blood?
I really like the idea of them being forced to drink blood.
Okay.
It's kind of the big drawback is the moral quandary. You have to drink blood, even if you're a paladin.
Right. That was an important thing to add.
That's a cool idea. So Patrick Smith brings up a very interesting point. Are they healed by positive or negative energy? They're not technically undead because they're half mortal. So I don't think you'd need to worry about that. Once a week or every 48 hours.
Yeah, the things that would normally do 20 damage or be a vulnerability to a vampire or something like that just simply stops the regeneration of the daywalker. So running water, sunlight, taking radiant damage, taking holy damage, like holy water splashed on you.
Okay. All right. Must consume the blood of the living every 72 hours. Just because people will be like, wait, how long is that? That's my favorite one to use because people have to do the math in their brain.
There we go. Yeah, I think that's...
You didn't say 72. All right, next template.
Okay, before that happens,
Cardboard Fortress, yes, we're templating. We're making monster templates tonight so we can go, "Buh, this is what your new character can be," or whatever.
Before that, I'm going to show off a little bit of something I made. Way back in the day when I used to write for Nerdarchy.com.
Voltaire, I love that idea. I like the idea of the character walking around with a small cage of rodents for blood. Are you still here eating vermin?
So, if you'd like the Daywalker thing, you could also check out the Vampire Kin, which is a class monster mashup that I did way back in the day. 2015, to be precise. And basically, what it turns out to be is very similar to what we designed, except this is taking your Vampire Kin. You're basically taking a level 1 monk as your class, and then walking through that with the different kind of things of vampiric things in nature. So,
is that a wolf punching another wolf? What is that picture?
They're playing. It's actually 3 wolves, by the way.
I can't tell. It's behind me. It's
there. Now you look
at it. It looks like he literally just socked the other wolf in the face.
So, for example, rather than a monk's training, unarmed training that gives it the unarmed AC bonus, there's feral instincts. And that second level, instead of KI points, you get blood points that you can gain back after doing certain activities.
Is key.
Key, sure.
It's key.
I've been tainted by Dave on several words. It's
not Kai. It's also not Italian. It's key.
So you get basically it just runs through monk, reflavors things slightly, or just like a rename and a different reason they have the same mechanic the monk has. So you lose deflect missiles is one of the things you lose.
I'm sorry, someone brought up Killer Instinct, and I was like, Killer Instinct, are you kidding me? I love that game. All right. Anyway, next.
Just wanted to mention it. There's also Ghoul which is Eater of the Dead, and I also did Lich.
Of course, he made Ghouls and Eaters of the Dead.
And I did Ghouls kind of inspired. Someone requested it. I did Ghouls kind of inspired by a Tokyo Ghoul. So, all right, back to templates.
Combo breaker. There was this game called Unreal Tournament. I used to play it all the time, and in it you had multi kills and ultra kills. And one time I got both at the same time because I blew a bunch of people up, and it went ultra kill. And so now there is a running joke amongst my friends about multra kills. So
multra kill.
Anyway. Multra kill. Moving on.
Yes. All right. So I think that generic template just worked fine for what we were doing. So I'm going to grab it again.
Yeah, the flesh-eating hags and stuff he was talking about, those all live in Nate's Sacred Grove. Because they're all good aligned.
There are no flesh-eating hags in my grove. There are a whole bunch of...
I said it, it's canon, it's too late.
A whole bunch of unicorn-horned bunnies there now.
Okay, all right. So next template.
Yeah, do we have any suggestions from chat?
Oh yeah, do you guys have anything you'd like to see? Any crazy templatey goodness?
Okay. Viat Dragon question: does 5e have the feral template? 5e has 2 templates from what I remember. So no.
They aren't flesh eating, they just nibble.
Yeah, like a bunny nibble.
Fortress wants a were-clam. Why is he doing
I saw a half flesh golem template. That sounds pretty cool. I ignored the...
What is it? What is a half flesh golem?
You're a person that's had a few adjustments made, probably due to
And
maybe...
that's a whole flesh golem at that point.
No, because you never died.
I disagree.
You're not Frankenstein's monster.
You're not Frank. I like Frankenstein's monster.
You're like if like Frankenstein's monster was actually a terrible burn victim or something, and he replaced different bits of him with, but you're alive. That would be like a half flesh golem.
Half dragon and zombie, centaur template, golem version of RoboCop. Touche, good sir. People want a centaur template. There's really no centaur template out there somewhere. Are you kidding me right now? And Cossacks Cam, a flesh cyborg. I do agree with that assessment. That is a very apt. Half human, half warforged. Is that what you were just reading? Because that's where my eyes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I like half human, half warforged. What would you call that? Ooh, flesh forged. Do it. You could call it flesh forged. That's what I call the cybernetic enhancements for my steampunk setting. It's called flesh forging.
Shadow cursed.
The Terminator. We're gonna run out of time if we take too long.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to pick a good one, so I'm like, I want to pick the best available one, I guess. I'm not saying these aren't good. I don't want to pick one too soon. So I like the Shadow Cursed.
Okay, I'm presenting an idea.
Okay, go.
Human exists. Human is hanging out, and they say, we need more powerful warriors for a battle. We're going to summon a demon into you. This was the thing I was talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
We summon a demon into you. The demon's in you, and you have runes carved and branded into your skin to suppress the demon, but it's still in the background of your mind messing with you. So it's still there, but it's more like a whisper. So the template is to make a mildly crazy, demonically possessed person, and you essentially get a bunch of the powers and benefits of having this crazy demon inside you, but it doesn't get control. You get control of the body. But it's a very rough relationship. Slat said so, Warlock. Not exactly. Not exactly. I was thinking more along the lines of not spellcasting. Like physical representation of a barbed devil in a human.
What about rather than just a demon, it could just be extraplanar binding?
That makes it even more templatey. I like that, sir. So extraplanar binding. Can we still do the crazy brands and runes and maybe tattoos?
Well, yeah, magic circles on you.
Right. So you have the demons bound to you via tattoos, branding, or carving. That's gruesome.
What about special drinks?
What?
Like branding, Kool-Aid? Brewing.
What are you talking about right now?
You got to drink your juice or you're going to have problems.
Sealing a demon inside a warrior like Naruto. Yes. Yeah, so if the runes get destroyed, you are screwed. Exactly.
Well, that's over pretty quick. Being able to lose your template is not that. I'm not that keen on
Cardboard
that.
Fortress does have a really cool idea. He said a primordial template, so you could make like Neolithic man or something like that. That is a cool idea as well. I'm just saying. I like the idea of binding planar.
That makes me think of like someone's Vita's asking about the feral template. I feel like those kind of two would go along together.
Mildly crazy like Deadpool. Probably you've got a demon whispering into the back of your brain all the time. A cursed soul in armor like Full Metal Alchemist. That could be cool.
Be like the bodiless.
Well, basically, have you watched Full Metal Alchemist?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I was reaching for your nerd card, but you can keep it. But its physical form is destroyed. The soul is bound to the armor. The stipulations on how you get destroyed and how you heal are going to be really specific on that.
Yeah, and technically, well, I don't. For anybody that's still watching it, I don't want to say anything. So,
So flying monkeys.
So flying monkeys.
Those are cool.
No, I'd say okay. So we're gonna go with the bound. What is it? Basically, you'd have some kind of stat bump. I think based on what's going on with the creature being, the creature's energies reaching out through you. And I think you'd probably also have some kind of well, I think you'd have some kind of affinity, maybe a resistance to something.
Yes. And then a mental penalty if the creature isn't the same alignment as you.
Do you just want to make? Well, maybe.
If you're the same alignment as the creature, then you probably don't care that it's telling you to murder people or to save someone. But if you're an evil person with an Azamar bound inside you, and it's constantly being like, you're a bad person, don't do that, and you're like, ah, it's going to bother you. It's probably going to mess up like wisdom. Like it'd be really hard to make perception checks if somebody's constantly rattling on, especially if they know that when you're dead, they get to go free. You might have like a good relationship with something that's bound to you. That's like, you're doing the same stuff it would want to do anyway. Let's hang. We're cool, bro. Bromeo. There it is. Couldn't get him to smile. Sometimes
I have my thingy face on. Sorry.
Here we go. Here we go. We got all kinds of tasty stuff coming out. Like Sam on Supernatural when he had Lucifer inside him. I am not familiar with Supernatural. My wife watched that entire series. All of it.
I had to stop after a while.
Those guys always purse their lips when they talk, and they always talk really intensely, like there's something caught in their throats. Every time there's dialogue. This is how, Nate, how are you doing today? It's a super serious day.
I'm fine. Just fine.
Great. We're doing Supernatural dialogue. Okay. Take so much damage that the entity fully comes out and your mind is pushed to the back. Really, there's tons of things you could do with this, Aaron Parks. If you're ever knocked unconscious, you have to fight for control. And then like every couple of hours you get to fight for control again. Something like that.
So
disadvantage on death saves with different alignment because your death equals its freedom. Yes, that sounds awesome too. I like both of those. You should write both of those down real quick.
All right, so we're saying
disadvantage on death saves if you have a different alignment than the demon that's in you.
Conditional complications. So if you're incapacitated, unconscious. Oh man, sorry.
If you're incapacitated or unconscious, when you wake up, you have to fight for control.
So if incapacitated, unconscious, or unconscious, let's say.
This is like the typewriter on Sesame Street.
Shut your face.
Okay. Okay. So you have to fight for control of your body. A disadvantage on death saves if you have a different alignment.
Really?
Heck yes, it wants you to die, and it's still awake while you're knocked out. It'd be happy as heck if you were toast.
Was just telling you, just give up.
Yeah, just let go. Just like it's fine. Just go. Go sleep. Sleep, little baby bird. Okay.
Well, okay, so if you go unconscious, besides from sleeping?
Besides from sleeping. Sleeping's fine.
Yeah,
So back to my first question: are the abilities you gain based off the monster bound to you, or is it generic abilities? I would love to make it based off the creature that's bound to you, but I'm not sure how to approach that just yet. Cardboard Fortress said influence get more difficult the longer you go without doing some specific act to appease the bound demon, or bound extraplanar creature. We'll have to think about that. The recent most Elfbait said the recent episode had them sucked into a Scooby-Doo cartoon. Oh my god.
Like a literal cartoon?
That's probably. Brian Smith said, is charisma super low because you're basically a flesh vehicle for this other entity? I would assume that you would have some kind of physical manifestation and it would be different. You're full of barbed demon. So you have like literally bony protrusions sticking out of your body. You're, you could have any number of different things inside of you. And whatever it is would have some kind of physical manifestation of its form. Clever use of a true name of the demon or whatever could force a battle of wills. Interesting. Oh, by someone outside. Okay. What if, depending on what type of demonic entity you choose, you get a different effects? Possibly you get runes on your eyes, you become blinded, but now your demonic entity tells you your surroundings. Man, that would be a difficult relationship.
Now 3 feet over to the left. My hand's cut off.
If incapacitated or unconscious, excluding sleep, you lose control of your body and must make a successful wisdom save to regain control. Did we not do the disadvantage on death save?
I didn't write it down yet.
Okay, all right. Just gonna inundate you with data. It wanting you to die doesn't make sense or good storytelling. It does make sense, but not for every kind of demon.
If I'm kind of a nuisance.
If I'm an angelic being and I'm inside an evil person, I may try and redeem you for a while, but after a while, I'm just going to want you to die so I can be free of all the horrible stuff you do that I have to watch. So depends. If I'm an Efreet, I hate you. You're disgusting. I don't want to be bound inside your weak little mortal body, and I want you to be dead soon. So it would depend on what kind of creature was bound inside you.
I think there'd be certain things that would come around as far as if you were going to be one of the bound. These would have to be actually really fantastic bonuses, or there's like rules they have to follow as being bound. Like magic circle rules kind of thing.
Raven, what are we doing now? Raven, we're making it so that you have a person and the template is there's a demon bound or angel or whatever bound inside you. And you have runes either tattooed, carved, or branded into your skin that keep the creature inside you. It's bound to the back of your mind, but you can still hear whispers from it. So if it's a different alignment from you, you get a bunch of penalties. And if it's say, for instance, like if you have to make a death save, you're at disadvantage because it doesn't really want you to be alive in the first place. If you get knocked unconscious during battle and you're waking up, you might have to fight for control of your body. So, oh man, I'm going to be playing with the idea of this for a while. I think it's an excellent idea, and there's so many approaches you can take with it. Raised Dead accidentally brings back. Oh, that was it. I want to read it. Raised Dead accidentally brings back the demon spirit to your body, and yours goes to its body. So the runes keep the demon in. Can it have you remove runes if you fail a wisdom save against it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Lose too many contests and you just can't contain it anymore. Absolutely. The idea would be emulating the limited lifespan character concept, which Rifts did it very beautifully. They said, here's a juicer. You're using combat drugs, but the combat drugs mean you only live for 4 years. You will die in 4 years. So you had all these cool physical bonuses, but you're going to be toast soon. This would be doing some other very similar mechanic where you've got all these cool bonuses, but at some point the creature inside you is probably going to get control. I mean, this template cannot cover all extraplanar anything. You got to limit your scope a little. Why wouldn't an angelic entity try to influence you towards good? I'm saying it would. I'm saying everyone has limitations. Even benign angelic entities, eventually they're just going to be like, this dude just needs to die. We need quirks, lots of quirks. Like if you have female demon that hates men, you react accordingly, like throwing stuff at them. Throwing stuff at them?
What about just treating them poorly?
Just in general.
Or I think you'd actually have negatives on, like a disadvantage on persuasion and other things with them if you hate them. If it's like coming out, like
Lincoln. Well, you could have an what is that called? An enmity.
Yeah.
You could have an enmity for anything, a race, a gender. It really wouldn't matter. There would always be something that maybe the demon hates or the angel detests.
People, the DM named Neil.
Yeah, Neil. Do you get more tries if you fail the wisdom save? Yeah. So we were talking about that. Like once an hour, you can try and regain control.
Yeah, I think once an hour is legitimate.
This is too big for me to think of right now just because there are so many. Yeah. If the player loses control to the demon being, who controls the bound creatures? Players don't often want to play two personalities. I would say the GM would probably.
Like a werewolf kind of thing?
Yeah, that would completely depend on your games master. I wouldn't write a mechanic for that. I would say that depends on the games master. I would love this to see this as a class option, so different paths would bind different entities. This also feels a lot like a warlock, but a warlock doesn't necessarily have a demon bound in it. It's just getting powers.
A warlock could just choose to not do something its patron really wants it to do.
Yeah.
It will have to deal with the role-playing aspect, repercussions, but unless in extreme cases, the patron would not just like take over the person and be like,
right. This
now
also,
you're going to do whatever I feel like.
Yeah, this is also it's a much more intimate relationship, and B, this isn't like I now have magical abilities because of this. It's I grew horns. I'm 7.5 feet tall, or whatever. Some physical emulation of the demon. It wouldn't be spellcasting. Sounds like a warlock, but the entity is inside you, not on another plane. Okay.
Well, there's a certain thing that's kind of like, does this just sound like another type of fighter? Well, I mean, it swings a sword, so if that's your qualification on what makes a fighter, then. So if warlock's qualification, what you think of as a warlock pact, is being bound in some way or beholden to another entity, and that's like the major thing in your mind that separates a warlock from anything else, then this would be the closest thing to that. But it's as similar as a sorcerer and a cleric. They're not very similar, but they both cast spells.
Except the creature inside you is essentially beholden to you because you're in control.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, clerics cast spells and sorcerers cast spells, but they're very different things. You wouldn't say, well, we've already got cleric, so we can't have sorcerer. Do you know what I mean?
You can bind a genie and you're the lamp. Something like that. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're the lamp. No wishes will be granted. So yeah, and power is being taken in this instance, not given. There was nothing being given. More like, I don't know what that word is. Jinchuriki? I'm not sure what that word is. I'm sorry. Okay, so manifest physical form by the entity within, and then we could literally just whip up some characteristics before we run out of time.
I just watched an anime that had that word in it.
Which word?
Genturige, I think. But I don't know how they were using it, like the context of it, so I have actually no idea exactly what the bounds of that word is.
This would be a really easy thing to just go ham on, because literally we're just looking for physical emulation, crazy characteristics and stuff like that. Like, so it would be very, very simple to say these are that word is from Naruto. I'm going to guess it has a deeper root than that. Oh, it's a specific term from Naruto. Oh, well, maybe it's made up then. It's a Hulk template, something like that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so do we want to include things like natural armor class?
I was thinking about giving them the rage ability.
Oh, I was literally like, let's just go through the monster manual and grab 3 or 4 physical characteristics from each one, as well as an obligatory resistance and physical and or mental stat.
Oh, okay. You wanted to go that direction. I was thinking about giving them kind of a power that they get for a certain amount of time that gives them supernatural resistance.
Well, these guys, okay, so like the Balor is immune to fire and poison. So I would say this person gets resistance to fire and poison. The Balor, it is definitely strength heavy. It has a 26 strength.
It's a little strong.
I would say, yeah, I would say you would get a strength bonus. You would get some resistances to whatever it's immune to. I would say you would probably get true sight, and you probably could give true sight to literally everything.
True sight.
Mm-hmm. You don't think so?
No. Mm-mm.
Why not?
It's good. It's really good.
Oh, because it's good. He's just being stingy again.
No.
All right, later, Alfate. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
I'm being
stingy,
reasonably cautious about just handing out abilities willy-nilly. No, true sight.
No willy or nilly here.
Why would something that's got an elemental bound up inside it have true sight?
We're not on the elementals yet. We're still on. You
just said all of them.
Well, but we could just blanket turn it for all the demons, and then the devils.
I'm blanket turning it right now. Resistances. You gain an appropriate resistance. You don't need to pick one. That's all. That's too crunchy. We don't need to go that. We don't need to go that deep. I mean, what are we going to do? Like, are the devils different than the demons? Are there
Patrick
different...
Smith had a comment for you.
Oh.
He said a Grinch named Nate.
I'm stealing this template. So I say gain an appropriate resistance. If it's not appropriate, you don't gain it.
Thank you, James Leslie. Yes, we're using World Anvil in order to put this in. When it's done, it will be published. You can go to worldanvil.com if you'd like to take a look.
And also, just as a quick aside, they were on the Nerdarchy live chat earlier today at noon, and it was really cool to hear them talk about all the cool features of it. So, and there's like tons of people on the forums and things and Discord that can help out people who have questions about it as well.
Do you remember their names again? It was Dimitri is the developer, and Janet is the community manager. Thank you. And they're a dynamic duo. Those two are really cool. They do an excellent job. And Dimitri is kind of one of those sneaky geniuses. You didn't realize you needed a feature until you had the feature, and then you were like, how did I not have that feature before? So it's pretty cool stuff. Give each use of an ability the cost of using a rune, and if you use them all before a rest, you automatically lose control of the entity. That is a very flavorful mechanic.
I really like that.
That is delicious. Full on umami.
With bacon.
Nothing horrible is going on my end. Just to double check, because at one point it could have been my connection, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it's not. Well, we're back.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Greetings. I missed you. I love you.
Yeah, so okay. I say blanket, they gain an appropriate resistance. I think, aside from that, what else are we looking at giving them? I don't want to go through half the Monsters manual.
Let's do a basic mechanic here. Okay.
Okay.
First, I really like Aaron Park's mechanic. Let's start with that. A limited number of runes. They magically disappear when you use them. They come back. If you have to make the saving throw because you're unconscious, -1 for each one of the runes you used.
How about we do pluses instead when you have them?
Okay, that sounds good. It's the same, but yeah, absolutely.
It is, yeah.
Except that's pluses instead gives you advantage as the player, which I think I'd be in preference to. James Lizzie, will you throw and please press F5 up in chat? Just in case I have to press F5 in order to reload. I love you. Thank you, James Leslie. You are a superhero. Okay, so side up for World Anvil this afternoon. Anybody else on there? I have a product that I was supposed to publish a while ago that never went to the press. I had my contract canceled. So I've been thinking I'm just going to give it away. I'm going to throw it up on World Anvil and people can have it. So 1 rune per constitution modifier. I love getting stats involved.
I understand. I kind of...
Come on, Nate.
What if not? Let's say it's... What if it's not your con modifier? What if it's based on your ability to your inner will, like how
proficiency bonus?
Sure, that's like a competency thing. Could be proficiency bonus.
James Leslie, you're the best. Thank you. Runes equals proficiency bonus. Slots. Stop reading my mind. Okay. Oh, did it eat it again? Oh, no, we're good. We're good. Mental struggles are generally charisma. Cardboard Fortress, that is very GM specific though, because I don't do charisma for mental conflicts. So
all right.
That would be, we would have to go back into the what does charisma mean?
Yeah.
What does alignment mean argument?
I am just going to flat out disagree with that right out the gate. I mean, there's a lot of things with the word will and all that kind of stuff in it that all kind of point towards... Now, if you're talking about like fighting an artifact, that may be charisma. I want to check that out, actually.
We've got proficiency bonus plus will mod. Wisma.
I think it should just be proficiency bonus. I don't think it should be
just flat proficiency bonus.
I think it's flat proficiency bonus.
Okay.
That kind of standardizes it based on your hit dice.
Okay. That sounds good.
So I think that's a good spot.
But yeah, I've had a lot of flack, a lot of heat in chat about how I deal with charisma, and a lot of people deal with charisma and mental characteristics differently. So if it was 4E, it would be the highest of your int, whiz, or charisma. Yeah, it really is GM preference. It's kind of like saying there's a right way to do alignments.
Well, okay, so specifically, if we're saying artifact or sentient magic item trying to push itself on you, it's a charisma. It's a charisma contest.
For you.
I mean, as far as the book's concerned, it's a charisma contest.
The book is a guide.
I'm just saying you would be changing as... Okay, do I have to say raw? I hate saying that. In meaning,
don't say raw. I don't know what raw is.
Rules is written.
I write my own rules, and then I have a thing I hand out to players and say, "This is what we did."
You're a rebel.
These are. It's not rebellion. The first thing it says is these are just a guide. If you don't like rules, change them. I was like, really? Great.
Yeah, that was the good thing to put in the front.
Yeah. So. Determining number of runes, Brian Smith. The idea would be the mechanic we're going for. The real important part here. The mechanic we're going for is that you have runes on you. They could be tattoos, brands, or carved into you. Each time you use one of these abilities, you're going to lose one of your runes for a little while, and then it'll magically reappear, maybe painfully or glowing or whatever. But each time you use a rune, it's gone until you take a rest, and then you get all of your runes back. Cardboard Fortress, this is a deep rabbit hole that I do not have time to engage in. He said, basic rule, charisma is for personality contests. Yeah. I will, to satisfy your curiosity, I will say what I do, but I am not discussing it further because it always becomes a topic. I make people role play it. Done.
Okay, I would say that so for personality contests you have charisma, but then if it tries to make you do things, is that also a personality contest, or is that a wisdom save? Like there's so many spells that are not charisma saves. Do you know what I mean? So it depends on if you're looking at it as the end result of a spell effect, or a sentient thing trying to push you out. So I feel like it kind of makes more sense with charisma.
Cardboard Fortress said, when you rest, you get one rune back. We have short and long rest here. Mm-hmm. So maybe short rest, one rune, long rest, all the runes.
I just say short rest and long rest, all the runes, nothing else.
But he had other fun mechanics.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
If you do an act that is in line with the entity's alignment, you get an additional rune back on short rests. It's thematic. It's cool. It works,
but then we've got to be like, was it appropriate to do this thing here?
But that's okay. We don't have to mess with that. That's up to the GM.
That just will start a half-hour argument with groups. That's all. That's all that will do.
No, yeah. Come on. Not every GM is going to be hammering down the laws. Like,
yeah, not every player is going to be playing reasonably friendly when it comes to what an alignment means and what doing certain things in certain alignments. So you have a set number of magic social runes that bind the entity. You can expend them to do things.
I don't know about 5e, but in 4th, intelligent items had goals that if you did what they liked, you got more and more attuned and in line with them. If you did things the item didn't like, it bailed. Yeah. What save do you use to resist domination? Wisdom is a strength of will. The way I've always looked at it, charisma as a social and spiritual aspect, in is for reasoning, but everyone is their own. Absolutely. And wisdom was another stat that's got all kinds of different interpretations depending on who you ask, especially depending upon how long they've been playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
That true. Really modifies the answer. So,
yeah, when they picked intelligence for a mystic, I was like, what?
Brian Smith said, if somebody plays this, I'm making a warlock whose patron is the demon trapped inside.
Oh noes.
You would be murdering each other in no time. Petulant players? Petulant, like spoiled child? Petulant? Putting horrible cursed templates on characters is going to start arguments. Well, the problem is we haven't gotten into any of the benefits. I would happily play something like this if it had lots of cool abilities I got.
And I don't think you shove it on somebody. I think someone has to say, yes, I want this.
This is something you would select at character generation, not something that would be inflicted on someone.
Well, it could be a template you get at it.
I mean, maybe someone captures you and decides to spend the next, 2 weeks tattooing and branding you so that they can summon a demon inside you. And that's an awful lot of trouble when you could have just put it in someone who's willing to do what you want.
And off the guy that you captured.
Yeah, and just kill the guy you captured.
Think of the story elements.
The prison is the body. Maybe it could be a strength or con check. It can break the binding via the body. There's so many excellent interpretations you could do with this. Don't use runes if the actions coincide with the entity's goals. That's another. This just introduces these tasty, flavory bits that make it so that the character isn't just a mechanical gameplay effect. The character is also a roleplay gameplay effect. And as everyone knows, I am super into roleplay over everything else. So.
All right, so Boon of the Bond. You can activate a runic effect without expending the rune. If it directly furthers...
Alex C., I don't miss Thacko. I don't met anybody that misses Thacko.
No. Activate a runic effect without expending the rune if it directly furthers the entity's desires.
Yeah. Exactly, Aaron Parks. It would encourage moral quandaries. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Right. So if they said they want it, then they sign on for the DM's interpretation of what is an act of the entity's alignment. Right.
There you go. That could just be a really easy...
It's just a roleplay opportunity for the player and the GM. Or the GM's going to give you a set of guidelines and say, this is what the thing wants. Here you go. Like, I mean, however mechanically or fluffy you want to do it, it could work either way. There is, okay, so James Leslie said, Thaco wasn't bad unless you had to teach it to someone who couldn't do math. One of the major issues with Thaco is this thing in game design that you always have to deal with called player fatigue. It's a real thing. There's one of the lead game designers for Facebook talked about it all the time. Player fatigue and play fatigue specifically is after I've been playing a role-playing game for 3 hours, I've started to get tired. My attention span is shorter, my motivation is lower, my energy is lower. Because of these things, simple items like basic mathematics start to become more complex because I'm less interested in doing them. I'm having more of a challenge concentrating on basic ideas. So a more complex or mathematically confusing system, something that's just not intuitive, like Thaco, starts to become a real issue for 5 and 6 hour game sessions where player fatigue is really affecting people. So I miss my -10 armor class. I do still think of armor class as being better when it's lower. That is.
yeah, there's that.
Taryn McIntyre, I don't know. Is there no damage reduction in 5e?
There is Heavy Armor Master, which is a feat, and if you're wearing heavy armor, you can subtract 3 off of. I don't know what the restriction is. Is it non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, or just bludgeoning, piercing, slashing? And there's also damage resistance for things like people who do stone skin, but there's not like DR5. Just blanket DR5 from physical attacks. There's not that. And there's rage abilities with Barbarian.
And I absolutely agree with Cardboard Fortress. The old 60s through 80s game design style, charts, numbers being both positive or negatives, asking players to do anything. You do not ask players to do any arithmetic that is in basic game design. Your numbers you're allowed to use is 0 to 9. You're allowed to do addition or subtraction. You should try and just do one of those things for everything you're doing in the game. And you're never allowed to ask people to do multiplication or division. But yeah, Cardboard Fortress says, as a general game design rule, you don't flip higher numbers being good sometimes and bad other times. Absolutely. That takes away from a game design being intuitive. The best game design in the world is one where Nate and I sit down to play a game and Nate says to me, does this work this way? He's just guessing because he's seeing how the rest of the game works. And Nate is right. Nate guessed how a mechanic works, and that's how it works. That's the best game design in the world. Everything's intuitive. Everything works the way you'd think it would work. So
to the average populous person, yeah.
Exactly. Is there any way in 5e to get double advantage or damage resistance? Aaron Parks, that's a question.
In 5e to do double damage or gain what? Gain damage resistance? Like I said, there's heavy armor master. There's being a barbarian. There's things like if you get a rogue to a certain level, you can use a reaction to take half damage from an attack. There's a couple things like that, but dealing double damage. So I mean, you, like, go the assassin route. If you start first in the beginning of the encounter, you can basically do a crit right out the gate, basically. And aside from that, there's not a lot except for trying to crit more often, like make more attacks and crit more often. So like a champion or something like that.
Yeah.
They try to stick away from obnoxious amounts of multiplication for things.
Yes. Well, they worked it within a budget because they have that nice, beautiful D20 bell curve. So they said max bonus, max penalty. Those are our windows. How many abilities can we fit?
Bound accuracy, which is really handy.
Okay. Ooh. I like that. Push your luck mechanics is what Cardboard Fortress is talking about right now. I would say that you roll a die when you use a rune, but if you roll a 1 or something, you check to see if the thing takes over. Just interesting ideas like that. Right now, we already kind of have a push your luck because if you get in a fight and things go south and you get beat up real bad, you're already going to be making checks with way less than your normal number of runes to try and maintain control. So it already has the potential to go extremely south for you. So
I'm digging this. Now, as far as more specifics, I would just say really just dive into a specific thing. You just like, this could be bound to a person. And see what it's got. What's resistance that it has? Does it have some kind of natural attack you kind of want to emulate in some way? Or supernatural attack that you think in some way should transfer over? Or do you think it should just be like an entity that's strong and is just powering you up so that you have, jumping, climbing, running up trees faster than normal? That kind of thing.
I can't run up trees at all, so I'd be ahead of the game if I could just run up them at any speed.
Yeah, wouldn't that be super sweet? So that's what I'm saying there. So I feel like I need to wrap this up.
Okay.
Wrap it up. This is just kind of the general base ideas. Again, you can check this out over on the worldanvil.com. It's going to be under other Nerdarchy stuff in Ulfgania. And that is going to be... There it is. That's how you spell that.
Excellent.
I spelled it wrong when I made the world, by the way. Just so don't feel bad any which wrong way you spell it. I spelled it wrong when I made the world. So, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you got anything to add, Kienata?
No. Right. This was fun. This was fun. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and contributing. And another good thought experiment.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for all the comments and the contributions. So until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.